Hey, this video we're going to be talking about the NHL coaches that are on the hot seat and who I think is potentially going to be available either before the end of the season or this offseason, so you better stick around. Okay, hey, welcome back to Ducks, Hockey, and More. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking this one out. This one's something new for me. We're going to be talking a little bit about NHL coaches and who's on the hot seat, NHL coaches that are going to become available as I stumble through this, right? So, look, I had a subscriber reach out and say, hey, and you know who you are. Thank you, by the way. What coaches do you think are going to be best suited for the Anaheim Ducks, right? So, and I wanted to address that because it's something I talk about as far as the Dallas Eakins situation a lot. How I hate him, I want him to go, and I have no doubt he's going to be gone either before the end of the season or at some point this offseason. Once it's over, they're not going to bring him back. Pat Verbeek's not going to go down that road again. So I wanted to talk about some NHL coaches. So let's just dive right into it, okay? Here's the two big hot seat coaches as of right now. Obviously, the Bruce Boudreau situation is over. Vancouver screwed up, I think, in a big way. Not only for the future of the franchise, as far at least in the short term, I don't think it leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth what Vancouver did to Bruce Boudreau. It was just done horribly wrong. In fact, being part of the Vancouver organization right now is very, in my opinion, I would be very embarrassed, especially the way that all went down. So now that that's done and over with, Rick Tocchet is now at the helm in Vancouver. Who's left? Who's the two? And I only really have two. Number one, the Dallas Eakins story in Anaheim. Dallas Eakins is going to be gone. I've talked about this a million times. He is my number one hot seat guy as far as an NHL coach that won't be an NHL coach. And I don't think he will be an NHL coach for a long time or ever again. I mean, that's how bad he has. His NHL record is just horrible. Now, in the minors, he's not so bad. He's got a proven record, and he's got a good record in the minor leagues, and he's good at developing young players and that kind of thing. So, bringing him up to the NHL level, I think was a natural progression for a Dallas Eakins. He failed in Edmonton. It didn't work out. Edmonton saw that really quickly and kicked him out of there. Dumb Bob Murray brought him back as an NHL coach. Now he was in the minors playing, coaching for the Gulls, the Anaheim affiliate in San Diego, and then they brought him up to the big team in Anaheim, and he's been now for 4 years. Now Pat Verbeek kept him one extra season. Okay, this season we're in now, the 22-23, and I think going into it, Pat Verbeek, it was just more of a, hey, let me give you one more year. We'll see what you can do. Bringing in a few new faces. Here's your chance to prove yourself. Otherwise, you're out of here type thing. Long story short, he won't be around because the Ducks are horrible. Eakins is 55. He's still pretty young. And he will probably more than likely get some kind of assistant coaching job after this season's over. I think an NHL team would at least hire him as an assistant. And I think that would probably be good for Dallas. Spend a few years as an assistant. Maybe one day he'll get another head coaching job, but I doubt it. But anyways, the number two hot seat coach who's going to be fired, and it's either going to be before the end of the year or this offseason, is the Columbus Blue Jackets head coach, Brad Larson. Brad Larson, look, I don't know. I can't see them keeping him. The one thing you can't blame him for is the injuries that have plagued the Blue Jackets this season. But you have to look at it on the flip side where Johnny Gaudreau comes in. There was a lot of higher expectations for the Columbus Blue Jackets this year. And I don't think that anybody expected them to be a playoff team, but way more competitive and way closer to, on the cusp of maybe being a playoff potential team than they are. They're bottom of the barrel like the Ducks in Chicago and Arizona. Just really bad. So I don't see Columbus moving forward with him. I think he has 1 year left on his contract, actually. So maybe they keep him 1 more year because of the injury bug. They sympathize with him, and we'll give you 1 more, give you that last year. I don't know. I can't see him doing that. I think they should cut him loose and move on, to be honest with you. But those are the 2 big coaches in the NHL, in my opinion, on the hot seat. Now, moving next segment, we're going to talk about coaches that could potentially be looking for jobs, okay, either before the end of the year or this offseason. And then I'm going to talk who I want the Anaheim Ducks to go after and who I think their best option would be. So if we're looking at potential coaches that could be looking for jobs, okay, Bruce Boudreau, we've already talked about him. He's obviously already out of his current head coaching job and unemployed. I've heard that he's looking to be an analyst on TV or something like that. He might be doing that in the interim, but I have a feeling he's going to want to get back behind the bench. And I have a feeling there's going to be a team out there like the Columbus Blue Jackets or, somebody, maybe even Chicago or, who knows, somebody that needs to get a new face, a new voice in the locker room, and they might go after Bruce. Bruce is a proven, successful hockey coach at the NHL level. He just is. So somebody's going to go out and I think give him a shot. Now, there's a name on here that I don't have, and I'll touch on it real quick. Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz currently isn't coaching in the NHL. Could he potentially at some point? Yes, absolutely. I don't know, though. I haven't heard much other than the fact that Winnipeg was the only team I heard that he had talked to, but he took this entire season off for personal reasons. Will he return to the coaching job in the future in the NHL? I think he probably will, and I have no doubt several teams will reach out to a Barry Trotz. Again, here's another guy like a Boudreau, a lot of success at the NHL level. So somebody won't want to go out and get him. But here we go into my list. So Sheldon Keith, Toronto, okay? The current head coach in Toronto. He's a young cat. He is only, he's in his 40s, guys. He's younger than me. Okay, he's in his early 40s. Listen, this cat has done a great job. His record, okay, as a head coach with Toronto, 116 wins, 50 losses, and 19 overtime, So 116, 50, and 19. That's really good. Now, keep in mind, Toronto's got a really good youth, really good offensive upside. They've always, the last few seasons, they've done very well, right? They've got all their money invested into offensive prowess and power, and they don't have a whole lot on the goalie side and the defensive side. That's kind of been their Achilles heel. And I think they're going to go out and land, try and get a defenseman going into the playoffs to solidify that blue line. They definitely need that if they want to try and make a long run. They're playing super well right now, and they really need to make sure their goaltending tandem, specifically Matt Murray, gets on a level that he's standing on his head every night as they go into the playoffs and tries to carry this team, because they have the offensive numbers. That's not a problem. It's the defensive side and goaltending. Okay, so anyways, if Sheldon Keith doesn't get out of the first round this year, I think he's gone. I really do. I don't think Toronto, in a city like that's as passionate as they are, and how microscopic they get when it comes to every little thing about the team and the players and it's a tough place to play and coach, because you're criticized and dissected big time, okay, in that market up there. Shoot, in any Canadian market really, but Toronto specifically. So I don't think Sheldon Keith, if they can't get out of the first round this year and it's another exit, he's gone. Okay, he's gone. Another one, Peter Laviolette, Washington Capitals. Laviolette's a good coach. He's been around a while. He's been successful at every team he's coached. Okay, he's currently with the Capitals, and I think that maybe he's in the last year of a 3-year deal that he signed to be the coach of the Caps. I think it's tough though, because for Laviolette, if the Caps don't make the playoffs for some reason, or which I think they will at this point, but if they don't go far and make a deep run, I don't think Laviolette is going to be around next year. Why would they keep him? You know what I mean? I think they would look to get a new voice, fresh, new look, new everything. So I don't know. Brian McClellan is probably going to move on from Peter Laviolette. And so there's another one for you. The next one I've got is Pittsburgh's Mike Sullivan. Now here's a weird one because Mike Sullivan, he's the longest tenured coach, I think, in the NHL right now with one team, Pittsburgh. He's won a couple of cups with them. He's taken them to the playoffs, I think, every single year that he's coached them. So it's like, why would you get rid of that guy? Well, I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh's had some ups and downs. They've got a lot of aging players that are probably, we're getting to the end of their careers, with the Crosbys, the Letangs, and the Malkins. I mean, things are starting to get towards the end, of that era. Maybe Mike Sullivan might be part of that too. Okay, he might just be somebody that ends up needing a job. Now, he would be highly sought after by any NHL team looking to change their bench boss, if you want to call him that. Either way, but Mike Sullivan, he's another one to look for as a potential looking for a job. If Pittsburgh can't do well and get in the playoffs and go far, I think he's probably going to be looking. Here's one, Craig Berube of St. Louis Blues. Craig Berube came in a few years back for St. Louis, kind of mid-season, and took him to the Stanley Cup, and they won it. Okay, so he's a proven coach. I don't, there's not. You got to give him credit for what he's done so far. Except this year. This year, it's kind of gone down the tubes for St. Louis, and it's kind of hard to understand why, because they have such a good team. They have goaltending, they have defense, they have offensive upside, and players like O'Reilly, Tarasenko, Kyrou. There's no reason why they should be where they're at right now. They should be in a better position and just fighting for that playoff position, right? But they're not. So I feel like if St. Louis continues to have these struggles and they don't make the postseason, Berube is probably going to be looking for a job. Okay, so look for that this offseason if St. Louis doesn't make it. Also look for Ryan O'Reilly and Tarasenko, who have been rumored to be on the trading block. If they move them and it looks like St. Louis is just going to sell, Berube is probably going to be looking for a job for sure. Listen, those are the guys that I have. Okay, there will be others. A lot of times there's assistant coaches that playing for successful teams that get promoted to a head coach position that might be available as well. So if you're looking as an Anaheim Ducks fan, okay, I'm looking to see who would I want as a coach. Okay, anybody but Dallas is the first thing I think of, right? So Dallas Eakins is awful, and anybody would be better than him. But if I really, really, really wanted somebody, Barry Trotz comes to mind, okay? But I think Sheldon Keith of Toronto Maple Leafs, if they let him go, if they don't get that first round, and if they don't win that first round and get into the second round and maybe even further, I don't know, and he gets let go and Toronto moves on from him, I think that's who I would want. That would be my number one choice for Pat Verbeek to go out and get. I think the market they have in Anaheim Ducks, where it's not like it is in Toronto, okay, would help him. It would take that attention off of him, that scrutinization and that microscope and magnifying glass and that, that you get up there in Canada, especially in Toronto. I think it would benefit him a lot. Plus, you have to remember, he's really young. Okay, just like Pat Verbeek wants to create a young, fast team in Anaheim. Well, we've got a youth core we're building around the McTavish, the Zegras, Terry, Drysdale, and all our upcoming prospects. Why not add a young, youthful coach with a different perspective, new voice? You know what I mean? He's had success in Toronto. There's no reason to think he won't have a lot of success in Anaheim. So he is my pick, okay? If I had to pick anybody, if he's available, right? So there's going to be a lot of good coaches out there available, and I have no doubt Verbeek's going to find the right one. He's a smart guy, and if he doesn't, and it doesn't work out, you move on. But Sheldon Keith's going to be my pick. For those of you who wanted me to do this video about NHL coaches, there you go. There you go. That's my pick. So, hey guys, thank you so much for the video topic and commenting and giving me the opportunity to make a video like this about coaching. It was actually kind of fun to look into some of what I would think and different things. It was actually very interesting and enlightening for myself as well. So thank you very much for that. Don't forget to go down, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think. Who do you want as a Anaheim Ducks head coach, and who do you think will probably be available? Okay, there's going to be a lot of, there's always coaching jobs that come up, and we'll see what happens when Berube goes out and tries to find a replacement for our crappy ass coach we have now, Dallas Eakins. So thanks again. Subscribe, smash the like button, blow the channel up. By the way, sporting the old school Anaheim Mighty Ducks jersey. I've got the old Fedorov. Okay, very few people knew that Sergei Fedorov, Russian player, used to play for the Detroit Red Wings for years, was an Anaheim Duck. So a Mighty Duck, I should say. Anyway, so hey, thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one, guys. All right, see ya.